Welcome to your Optimal Personal Economy podcast with Justin Bennett. Your personal economy is your ability to create, protect, preserve, and utilize your wealth, your financial world. Justin will share strategies and stories to help you optimize your personal economy. Now, on to the show with Justin Bennett and co-host Matt Halloran.
Hello and welcome to another podcast with Justin Bennett. Today, Justin is going to talk about how firsthand experience matters. Now, Justin, there's a lot of different ways you can go with this, but what do you mean by firsthand experience, Matt?
Matt, up to this point, a number of our recordings and our episodes have been centered around money and matters associated with money, which I think there's been some pretty good feedback that I've received from the folks that have listened. I also think there's been episodes that pertain to non-money domains of your life. And so you bring up this idea of experiences. And, I think it could be applied to all aspects of your life and not just the money. But what I'm meaning here is, we find ourselves talking with people, right? It could be friends, it could be family members, it could be coworkers, it could be bosses, it could be employees, it could be whomever, it could be random people. And most people, when a subject is being discussed, find themselves like taking a position on a certain subject or a certain topic. They weigh in on the way in which they see things. They weigh in on how they feel about a certain topic or a certain conversation. And they try to, a lot of times, make an assessment or at least share what their assessment may be. And it's oftentimes saying it's either good or bad, right? So it's like this idea that, I'm just going to use an example that I think I came across just recently. It was in the world. The subject was actually travel, like going to places on vacation. And someone said, "Oh yeah, Aruba stinks. Aruba, is just not a good island. It was windy, blah blah blah." And I was just allowing this person to talk, and I said, "So where did you stay in Aruba?" And so, I've never been to Aruba. And I just kind of scratched my head and I thought to myself, it's quite interesting that somebody draws a conclusion and takes a position with zero experience of ever having been to Aruba or ever having traveled there or stayed there. But rather they're very affirmatively taking a position on this island, and it's shocking. And so, I started to think more about it, and I said, when I am interacting with clients and with both existing clients and new clients, a lot of times people do have these preconceived notions or positions or perceptions on money. A lot of times you hear a lot of the traditional based thinking, and people come in and they're like, oh, this is how I feel about buying a certain mutual fund and buying term life insurance, and or rather they might say, hey, this is how I feel about whole life insurance, and so you just kind of allow them to talk, and you authentically want to understand, and so then you respond, and you might ask, have you ever owned whole life insurance? Have you ever used whole life insurance? And most times the answer no, I haven't. I just have been told it stinks, or I've been told it's bad, or I've been told it's good, or I've been told it's really, really good. And so they're sharing the experiences of a third party and making it as though it's their experience, when the reality is it's not their experience. And so I think what people need to do, or at least what I do, and I think, Matt, you know this, and a number of our listeners know this, is that, by living life a certain way, which is kind of the way in which you want to live life, and picking the experiences that you want to encounter, it allows you then to make a fair and valuable assessment as to whether or not that experience was a neutral, a positive, or a negative. It could even be going to a restaurant. Someone's like, oh yeah, I'm thinking about going over here to XYZ restaurant, and you might weigh in, oh no, that restaurant stinks, and oh no, what did you get when you went there? Oh no, I've never been there. I just heard it stinks. It's like, oh okay, so the restaurant stinks, but you've never been there. That just seems like to me, it seems like a very foreign concept. So when people are looking to make an assessment or looking to further their advancement within their planning or the money and the world in which they're trying to improve their careers, improve their wealth, improve their protection, whatever it might be, I think without coming to the conversation with some level of firsthand experience on whatever that subject may be, whatever that topic may be, whatever that area might be, it's really hard for somebody to really take an authentic, genuine, and real position on the conversation. So, I always, like to allow people to learn, versus me telling, right? So if someone could self-learn and self-discover, it's a lot more powerful than if I were to tell them something. So there's a way in which we can interact with people and help them to self-discover what it is that they're saying and how they're saying and why they're saying it. And a lot of times it's a pretty neat experience because people appreciate that. People want more and more of that refreshing approach to helping them make an assessment on what's right for them, because when they then make a decision based off an experience, they're then able to know that the decision that they're making off of a certain experience is a very clear, it's defined, it's a powerful decision, and it's a decision that they'll keep with them for a long period of time. And it also allows them to determine if the decision is right for them or not. So I think experiences, Matt, are huge. It's almost like just another example is, people, some of our listeners might know that I'm into, endurance challenges, and, endurance challenges tend to be lengthy physical and mentally taxing endurance challenges, and they last oftentimes 16, 18, 24, 30 hours consistently, like continuously. And so I find myself just talking to other people that have encountered some endurance challenges, and I like to talk with them because they have some experiences, and maybe they like to talk to me because I've got some experiences, and we're able to speak intelligently about our experiences. But sometimes I get people that say, "Oh, I've never run a marathon; it's too hard," and or they'll say, "A marathon is way too hard for me," and I'll say, "What was the last marathon that you ran?" And they'll say, "I've never run one." So how can you come to an assessment or a conclusion that a marathon is too hard if you've never experienced it, if you've never put yourself out there to see what it's like to run a marathon? And I think by putting yourself out there to run 26.2 miles as an example, that might last between 3 and 7 hours, depending upon the fitness level that you might be at. You're then, after you make that first attempt, you're then able to make an assessment as to whether or not you can complete a marathon or not complete a marathon, or how long it might take you, or if it's hard, if it's easy. And from there, you're able to have some sort of a litmus test on the words that you say, because I think the experiences allow for us to formulate our thoughts, our feelings, and be in a state of being, which then gives us the ability to speak more powerfully about certain topics. So I think this whole idea of experiences could go on, and I think I'm always working on it. I'm always trying to find myself experiencing things that I can then be aware of and make an assessment about and around. And I think from that creates the most amount of growth and development as a person, as a human being, both personally and professionally. So this whole idea of experiences is something that somebody should really spend some time thinking about and pondering, and maybe expand the experiences to then find themselves in a position to make an assessment on if something's good, bad, or neutral.
That was awesome, Justin. Thank you.
My pleasure.
Experiences are really something that we should all strive for, to experience as much as we can for the short period of time that we're on this planet. And working with somebody who seeks out those experiences does provide a perspective that can be very, very valuable to you. If you know anybody who needs to hear this podcast, make sure you just share this podcast with them. If you have not subscribed to it yet, it's super easy. All you have to do is click that subscribe now button below. For everybody at Bennett Financial Group, this is Matt Halloran, and we'll see you on the other side of the mic very soon.
Justin Bennett is a registered representative of Park Avenues Securities, LLC, or PAS. OSJ 1150 Raritan Road, Suite 201, Cranford, New Jersey, 07016. Phone number 908-709-0020. Securities products are offered through PAS, member of FINRA SIPC. Financial representative of the Guardian Life Insurance Company of America. New York, New York. PAS is an indirect wholly owned subsidiary of Guardian. Bennett Financial Group LLC is not an affiliate or a subsidiary of PAS or Guardian.